7, please, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The United Kingdom's sanctions are aimed at undermining Putin's war effort, inflicting cost at scale, and demonstrating strong support for Ukraine. Our response is in lockstep with our allies and has inflicted a significant economic cost to the Russian economy. By 2026, the IMF predicts that Russian economy will be 16% smaller compared to pre-invasion trends.
John Law. Thank you, Minister, for that response. I know that these sanctions have strong support in this House and across communities in the United Kingdom, but will the Government consider going further to ensure there is additional pain inflicted on President Putin and his cronies?
I thank my honourable friend for that question, and I also thank parliamentarians across the House for the united approach that we have had in applying maximum pressure on Putin and his aggression in Ukraine. We will continue to put pressure on Putin and his regime until Ukraine prevails or Putin ends his war of choice. Nothing and no one is off the table. While it is not appropriate to speculate on specific future designations so as not to reduce their impact, Russian aggression cannot and must not be appeased.
Yes, Brian. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. One of the people who is sanctioned in the UK is Roman Abramovich. His Chelsea was sold on the 30th of May, but the billions of pounds are sitting in his bank account because the Foreign Office still hasn't set up the fund so that the money can be given to the people of Ukraine. Why is the Foreign Office taking so long? When's it going to be sorted?
I thank my honourable friend for that question. Whilst I cannot comment on specific cases, what I would say is that 1,100 individuals, including 123 oligarchs and their family members, with a global net worth of 130 billion, over 120 entities, including all subsidiaries owned by these entities, and 19 Russian banks with global assets of around 940 billion, or over 80% of the Russian banking sector, in conjunction with partners. Over 60% of Russia's central bank foreign reserves have been frozen, and that demonstrates our commitment that we will do everything we possibly can, applying our criteria set by this Parliament, to bring those to account.
Number 9, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With permission, Mr. Speaker, I will answer questions 9 and 20 together. The Integrated Review on Foreign Policy, Defence and Security sets out the Government's vision for global Britain. We are delivering this through our diplomatic, economic, development and security partnerships, prioritising Euro-Atlantic security and the Indo-Pacific tilt. We have become an SEN dialogue partner, provided £2.3 billion of military support to Ukraine, published a new international development strategy and agreed the AUKUS deal. The United Kingdom state pension is payable worldwide and uprated where there is a legal requirement to do so. This has been the policy of successive governments for over 70 years.
Where is Sherman? Mr. Speaker, does this front bench actually understand? Do they read the world's media? Do they not understand that we are alienated, isolated from all our traditional allies in Europe, from the United States? And do any of them think that the now Prime Minister's comments about France and President Macron helped anyone?
Thank you. What I would say to the honourable member is, when he says with regards to alienating the world, I would say look at what really happened in practice. The United Kingdom led the world with regards to stepping up and supporting the people of Ukraine, whether it was militarily, economically, diplomatically, humanitarian basis. We have stepped up to the plate at every level with that regard. And whether it's with COP26, whether it's the summit on freedom of religion or belief, whether it's the summit coming up with the PSVI, the United Kingdom is leading the world and standing up for our values on democracy, liberty and open societies.
20, sir. I'll cast the question. The job interviews are taking a long time today. Over the summer, and I can't believe I'm having to ask this question. Over the summer, Mr. Speaker, thousands of UK pensioners living in Canada had their pensions stopped as a result of proof of life forms not being sent to them and therefore not being able to be returned, pushing many of them into debt and having to borrow for basic bills. To reinstate their pension, they've had to phone an international number with calls lasting up to an hour. So what does that say about global Britain if we can't even pay our pensioners living abroad? So what support can her department or his department and the British High Commission give to pensioners in Canada to ensure that their pensions are reinstated as quickly as possible? And can the Minister confirm if this issue, this debacle, has been sorted out with the DWP yet?
Thank you. Thank you. I thank the honourable member for that question. I know he's had a written response from the Secretary of State for DWP, who leads on this matter. He's had a conversation with the Minister for DWP with regards to Canada. Let me answer him specifically on pensions and Canada. I was recently in Canada, and this matter was raised with me by my parliamentary counterpart in Canada with regards to the situation of pensions. Let me answer that point specifically for him. State pensions are uprated where there is a legal requirement to do so. The United Kingdom and Canada have two arrangements concerning social security, neither of which include state pension uprating. The government continues to take the view that priority should be given to those living within the United Kingdom when drawing up expenditure plans for additional pensioner benefits. That is the position with regard to successive governments for the past 70 years.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Implementing the Truro Review is a manifesto commitment. The recent independent review on progress, which the Foreign Secretary has fully accepted, has confirmed there is still much to do to implement Truro in full. Will the Minister meet with me to discuss taking this forward?
I'd be absolutely delighted to do that. Having been a previous envoy, I appreciate her brilliant work.